Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We certainly are, and I hope you've had your coffee, and we sure appreciate you guys coming on. Let me see who gets up here. I'm going to bet Brahim. I got it. Brahim, you're number one. Janice, you moved up to number 2 this morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Number 3, Eric from Thailand. New Meadow Cat, Mike, you're number 5 today. John, Elgin, Illinois, good morning to you. Madeleine, how are you from Kippawa, Quebec? And Kevin, right up the top, Kev. Fran from Orangeville. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Dave from Muskoka, good morning. Jeanette, how are you? And Linda, the first Linda from Uppsala. Darlene, good morning. Nick from our staff, good morning, Nick. Linda's laughing. Nellie, how are you? Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Wendy from Markham. Wanda, Virginia. Freeline, how are you? Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. Keith, how are you, Keith? And Lakefield, I can't see the name. Lori, went up into my cloud. Jeanette, Grace, Newfoundland, how are you? Nancy from Gore's Landing. Dorothy, P.E.I. Sherry, oh, Sherry, if I could only sing. Barbara, Nova Scotia. Maryland, how are you from Edmonton? David, Ridgeway, good morning to you. Frida, and Brenda, and Beverly, and Milika, and Marlo, Ottawa. Barbara, how are you, Barbara? Debbie, Sturgeon Falls, good morning. Sharon, how are you? And wait a minute, someone from the UK. I didn't get that first name. Carol, Nick from Sudbury, Anita. And Francis, how are you from Vaughan this morning? Veronica, good to have you on. Guys, it's like I know every one of you. Now, who's that from Kingston? And I can't see. Donna, Bell Valley. And Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Kathy. Sue said she's in the clouds. Cecilia. Margaret. Lakeland. Judy. And Karen. Couple of more. And Karen's from Indiana. And Bonnie, how are you from Little Britain? And I missed one. Donna, how are you? Rhoda, good morning. I know I missed folks. Addie, I like that. My granddaughter's name, Addie. Polly, Rosalinda said I missed her again. Anne from New Brunswick. And Ashley, Anna. Anne, how are you? Claudette Hamner. I'm going to say hello to 2 more. And Addie, where are you from? Thanks for coming on this morning. And Babika. And Diane from Thunder Bay. And Addie's from Guyana. Well, holy smokes. And Rosalind. I know you guys. You get into the clouds. And Robin from Connecticut. How are you? Okay. And Helga, nice to have you on. And Tina. Now, I wanted to talk to you because someone put this up yesterday that I can't remember if it was her. Anyways, it was on the private Facebook group. And I went in there just to answer because, look, and I posted a study there this morning, and one of the latest studies on the gallbladder. And I just want to do a little bit of teaching on it because I think it's important to understand. Now, listen, I've been around a long time, okay? I've been around a long time. And gallbladder has been around as long as we're human beings, okay? And there's a very important reason that you and I have a gallbladder. It's because we're meant to eat fat. And your gallbladder doesn't produce anything. Your gallbladder is a reservoir. It's a little pouch. It's a little cup. And it contains bile. Now, bile is important. You need bile. Okay? It's very important. The primary purpose of bile is to emulsify fat. Okay? So that's really important, that if you look at dish soap and you get one that, fights grease. Well, what is it doing? It's emulsifying the fat. In order for you to absorb fat, you need bile. But your gallbladder doesn't produce bile. Your gallbladder holds on to bile that's produced in your liver. That's why you can live without a gallbladder. Now, it's always best that you keep every organ that God gave you. Okay? It's always best. But gallbladders are subject to disease. And for 50 years, I've been telling people why they would lose their gallbladder. You didn't use it. That's the number one reason. Now, women have a little bit more susceptibility to gallbladder, to gallstones. And the reason is because you need progesterone for your smooth muscles. Okay? And your bladder, ladies, your gallbladder, they're smooth muscles. Just inside your digestive tract, smooth muscles. Okay? You need progesterone for that. And this is why women, and only women, can have babies. I'm sorry, I'm not woke. Okay? I don't want to be political, but I'm an old nana. You're a woman, and only women can have babies. Okay? You're built that way. Now, oftentimes after a baby, after childbirth, women, a small percentage of them, but it's still, compared to men, it's significant. Women oftentimes have gallbladder issues and stones forming after a baby, postpartum. Okay? Why? Well, all of their progesterone went into the placenta. Now, your body has the ability, obviously, to make it postpartum, but sometimes you're not making it enough. The smooth muscle of the gallbladder gets affected, and you got a gallbladder attack after having a baby. Have I seen it before? Many a time. But the primary reason that women, more than men, have trouble with gallbladder. Now, men can have trouble with their gallbladders, no doubt about it, but it's not, the statistics are pretty bent towards women. Why? Because women in the 1970s, in the 1980s, in the 1990s, and in the years of the 2000s, they bought a lie. They bought a lie. They went fat-free. They went fat-free. And mostly women, okay? While men were eating hamburgers, women were eating salad. Okay? When men were eating steak, women were eating salad. Women would go to the grocery store. This is just a generalized statement, so don't come after me. And they would buy fat-free yogurt for breakfast. They bought the lie of fat because they were very concerned that fat made them fat. And that was the mantra of the world for 50 years. Fat makes you fat. And I don't want to be fat, so I'm going to eat fat-free. It was never true. It was poor science. But even today, okay, because we had one of our members yesterday say, okay, posted it, that the reason you get gallbladder problems is because you're eating too much fat. No, it's the opposite of that. And if the study after study, and I posted the latest one, and I'll repost it on our private Facebook group, the vast majority of people that get a gallbladder attack and gallstones, it's because they weren't using their gallbladder, because they were eating a low-fat diet. It's the opposite of what the world says. It's the opposite of what medicine says. It's the opposite. If you don't use your gallbladder, you will lose it. Now, let me put a little asterisk here. Okay? I'm going to put a little asterisk. Some, very few, when you think of we're probably over 100,000 people that have done the reset. Okay? Over the last 10 years. Okay? We got to be over 100,000 people. A small portion of that, they start the reset and they get a gallbladder. They feel their gallbladder is acting up. Well, again, the biggest reason is because you haven't used it. You're not used to eating protein and fat. Your gallbladder's not used to it. So, when you start eating eggs, meat, and cheese, you can sometimes react to that. Your gallbladder is going, who are you? Why are you using me? You've kept me idle for so many years, and now you want to use me. It can act up. I've seen it happen. That's the asterisk in the reset. Okay? So for those people, I don't want you to have a gallbladder attack. For those people, modify. One of the best things you can do for your gallbladder, by the way, one of the best things you can do for it is use it. Use it. Okay, I'm going to give you an illustration, okay? I was talking to a mechanic yesterday, okay? I love mechanics. My grandson's a mechanic. Okay? My truck doctor. That's what I call him. Mechanic. You're my truck or you are my car doctor. Thank you for being a doctor of my truck. Okay? Now, we were just talking about something, and I said, I got a 4x4 truck. Okay? And it's not an electric vehicle. Okay? It's not an EV. It's gas. Anyway, he said to me, oh, you got a 4x4. Do you ever use your four-wheel drive? You ever put it in four-wheel? I said, not much. He said, you know what? You need to use that. Go find a dusty road. Okay? Go find a dusty road once a month and for 5 minutes drive down and then drive back. You need to use it, otherwise it's going to seize up. I said, well, I didn't know that. I'm glad you told me, Doc. He said, use it or lose it. I said, well, that reminds me of the gallbladder. Use it or lose it. That's what happens to the gallbladder. You're not using it. So the bile that is sitting in there starts to calcify. You get stones. And you never want a stone to get caught in a duct, because the lady that was on there said her co-worker died of a gallbladder stone getting caught in the pancreatic duct. I've heard of it. It's possible. Okay? And, all I was saying to her, because she said, well, that's because the lady had a heavy fat diet. I said, no, I can guarantee you it was the opposite of that. Guarantee you. Now, again, take the little bit of the progesterone, and that's a possibility. Low progesterone levels. Okay? But generally, and that's what research is proving, use it or lose it. Okay? And again, if you're on the reset and you start getting gallbladder problems, you feel it. Well, your gallbladder's acting up because you haven't used it in a long time, really. Okay? And now you're really using it. Modify that, guys. Because you don't want to get a gallstone or whatever. You want, just modify, meaning that be careful, go at it easy, cut back maybe on the fat portion of your meats. And one of the best things you can do for your gallbladder, I'm telling you, this is very important, is to not to eat at night. I treated thousands of women, some men, with gallbladder issues in my practice days. I said, here's one of the best ways to fix your gallbladder. One, start eating some eggs, meat, and cheese, but go easy until we get you going. Okay? Until we get you going. Two, don't eat at night. Give a long time for your digestive process to work. So try almost invariably not to eat past 6 o'clock at night. Just give yourself a lot of time before you go to bed to let that digestive process work and allow the gallbladder to do its job. And rest it. And give it time. Okay? Now, some of you put some recipes up there, and I'm not against that, using some olive oil and this and that, but there's nothing like what I'm telling you. Okay? I'm well aware of gallbladder issues, believe you me. But there's nothing like giving it a rest at night. You'll find that if you allow your gallbladder, even though you're eating more eggs, meat, and cheese, if you allow your gallbladder to rest at night, and you might even do a little bit of intermittent fasting, meaning that you're going about 14 hours without eating, your gallbladder will say thank you. Thank you. It will appreciate it. It allows that bile. Now, bile does, like I told you, it emulsifies fat. Secondly, it's very important for your pH. It alkalizes, bile alkalizes your food coming out of your stomach into the small intestine. You need bile for that because remember what happens when food is in your stomach. The acidity in your stomach is more acidic than a lion, or at least it should be. Again, the stomach is another organ. Use it or lose it. And I venture to say this. Because we eat the wrong food, our stomachs are paying for it. Use it or lose it. You get stomach acidity. Oh, ask Dr. Martin. I got acid reflux. You know why? Because you're a carboholic instead of EMC-olic, eggs, meat, and cheese. You didn't use it properly. Your stomach was made to eat animal protein and fat. If you don't, your acidity is going to go up. And when I mean going up, it's going more alkaline. Instead of being 1.5, it's rising. Might be at 2, might be at 2.5, might be at 3 in the stomach. What happens then? Your body says, hey, your stomach was made to be so acidic, it will melt the penny. It will dissolve anything, including bacteria and viruses. You think God didn't know how to make you? But we think we're smart. I listen to more gurus. I listen to more PhDs in nutrition that didn't know what they were talking about because they were vegetarians and vegans and they had it upside down. Your body wasn't designed for that. I'm not saying you can't eat vegetables. I'm not saying you can't eat fruit. I'm not saying you can't live in the plant kingdom, but you can't live on it. Your body wasn't designed for vegetables and fruit to live on it. Your body was designed for eggs. Your body was designed for meat. Your body was designed for cheese, dairy. It was designed for it. You need the saturated fat and protein. You'll thrive with that. But stomachs that don't get that or get very little of it, the pH in the stomach goes up and your body says, okay, I'm sorry, now I got to produce more acid for you. The problem with when those proton pumps start pumping out more acid, goes up the esophagus, and you go, oh, I need Tums. I got acid reflux. It's a body's reaction to stupid eating. And then you take acid-lowering medication, and you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. You're not fixing it. The gallbladder. Why do you think God gave you a gallbladder? Why? To emulsify fat. You're expected to eat fat. Fat don't make you fat. Fat don't give you a heart attack. Well, there's a bad fat. We'll talk about that. Okay, which isn't good for you. When man makes a fat, it's bad. It's so silly. Look at the fats that we have. We got olive oil. We got butter. We got meat. We got cheese. We got eggs. We got coconut oil. Those are good oils. They're good fats. Your body was designed for it. And then you got bad fat. Man-made. It's fully synthetic. It belongs in your car. And I'm going to talk about this tomorrow because a brand new study came out. Wait, hold on. Let me get my notes. Autism. Japanese study. I'll talk about it tomorrow. So guys, I wanted to do that just to bring you the gallbladder, how important it is. Now you can live without it. For you, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments after the program, and a lot of people going to tell me, Doc, I don't have my gallbladder. I lost it. It's all right. You got Plan B. Plan B is, remember, your liver makes your bile, not your gallbladder. You just lost the reservoir. And you might find you're much more susceptible to diarrhea. And you might be a person that has to be careful, can't have too many eggs, can't have too much fatty meats. And you can't have, too much dairy fat. And you might have to take it easy and modify because you don't have a gallbladder. But don't worry about that bile. You're going to get bile. You're going to get bile. Your liver makes the bile. Your gallbladder never did. It was just a holding area for your bile. But you need bile big time. And if you keep your liver empty how do you keep your liver empty? By eating low carb, not low fat. If you eat low carb, your liver will be empty. If your liver is empty, it'll make up plenty of bile, let me tell you that. Your liver knows exactly what to do. I'm a big guy on liver. Not on gallbladder so much, on your liver being healthy. And I want your gallbladder to be healthy if you still have one. I treated, in my office, it had to be thousands and thousands of women without gallbladders. Okay? I understood it. And they were told, oh, you eat too much fat. That's why you lost your gallbladder. It was like doctors never went to medical school. It's unbelievable. Even today, they still teach that. For heaven's sakes. Drives me mental. They just don't have a clue sometimes. And then they spew off nutrition that you might as well go to your plumber. You're going to get better advice than some doctors give on food. I mean it. I hate to be negative, but people don't understand. Fat doesn't make you fat, and fat is exactly why you have a gallbladder in the first place. Okay? You need fat. You need fat everywhere. You need fat in your brain. What's my little saying? Someone calls you fathead, take it as a compliment. I saw someone there that says, hey, hello, I'm meathead. I like that. I'm fathead. Hopefully, I still got a lot of fat in my brain. You need it. You need fat in your eyes. Yeah. You know what happens when you lose your eyesight? Your eyes shrink, in the back of your eyes shrink up like a prune. Your skin needs fat. Every organ in your body needs fat. You just don't want to give it the wrong fat. Okay? Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay. Take a little breath. Okay, guys, we got a great week. Got a couple of new studies, one on autism. We'll talk about that. Interesting. Okay. Guys, can I just say this? Because I really appreciate people coming on our private Facebook group. Make sure you join that if you're not part of it. And because they asked a good question about gallbladder. I want you to question things. Okay, and they were asking about gallbladder, and I want to be able we want discussions, and be nice. Okay? Be nice to people. I appreciate the questions. I don't mind being questioned. I want my audience to question me. I'm happy to answer questions, okay? And I try and get to everyone that I can, okay? And I mean that. Okay, guys. We love you dearly and sincerely. And we'll talk to you soon.